So today we're going to look at using and working with Weld tables inside of the Nucleo software. The first thing we're going to discuss is how to set up your own table to be used, and then we'll talk about how to make sure that that table is available to you in Nucleo. All right. So the first thing we need to do is have a parasolid model of a table available. So if you have your table in a step or a solid assembly file or an IPT file or some sort, you will need to convert it into a parasolid. Parasolid is a very general file type, so you should be able to export out of Inventor or SolidWorks or any number of other 3D CAD suites. You should be able to export out of those into a parasolid. Let's see here, I've got a parasolid right here in my Windows Explorer, and all you have to do is just drag it right into the software and it'll open it right up for you. All right. Make sure you do this in a new file inside of Nucleo. That's kind of the easiest way to work with things. All right, so we've opened up our parasolid model here. Now the first thing we want to check before we go about doing any setting up is we do want to make sure that this parasolid does not contain an assembly and that it is not an assembly. So you can see here on the left side of the screen, my work panel, my workspace panel here. I can see all the separate pieces. They're all individual pieces. If there was an assembly in this file, there would be like a blue icon down here at the bottom, and it would be some sort of name describing the assembly. If that occurs for you, all you need to do is right-click on that file or on that section right there. Right-click on the assembly, all right, and then there should be an explode option in this menu. All right, so again, just right-click on the file name there, right, and you should see an explode option in this menu. Just click explode, it'll explode it, and you'll be good to go and you'll be set. All right, so with those two critical things out of the way, what we can move to now is making sure the table is centered and squared. All right, so when we're working with these Weld tables, we need to make sure that the top of the table is set to the correct height. So we want this to be set to Z0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Nucleo fixtures section on the toolbar at the top here. I'm going to go to More, and then I'm going to click Rotate Face to Plane. All right. I'm going to click the face here, select the bodies that I want to move, press the check mark. All right, and I want to make sure that that face is parallel to the XY plane. We can also make sure it's datumed to that plane, which is the more critical thing here. This will allow the that face to be flush to that plane while we're making it parallel. All right. We do want to keep face upright, since we do want this face to be Z positive, not Z negative. All right, and we can click OK. You can see it's going to shift the table down, and it's making sure that this face here, along with the rest of these, because they're all the same height, are going to be parallel and flush to the XY plane here. All right, so that's our first step. We've got it set to the right height, but it's skewed. If we go to our top-down view, you can see that. So we want to just correct this very quickly. So to do that, we can do the same thing. All right, we can go up to More, click Rotate Face to Plane, select the face that we're wishing to make parallel. All right, and again, select all the bodies, check mark. All right, and this time we're going to make that front plane, that front face, parallel to the ZX plane out here. So I'm going to click that. I'm not going to date them in this instance because I don't want to move the table back. Right? But I will uncheck Keep Face Upright because this face is kind of lower down and it's already kind of negative Z. If I were to keep face upright, it would end up flipping the table so that this would be Z positive. So we don't want to do that in this instance. So we'll do OK. All right, and now we're good. So we're squared up. All right, we're at the right height. Now we just want to center everything up. So to center it, I'm just going to go up to Transformations, use the Translate tool. I don't need to turn on any layers right now. We can click No. All right, and then we're going to select all the items. All right, and then I'm going to find a good base point to move from. For this table, the easiest thing is just going to be the midpoint. All right, so if I go to my top-down view here, I am in auto-snapping mode, so it should snap to whatever my cursor is nearest. So if I hover over roughly the midpoint of this face here, it should grab that. All right, and now if I hover over the origin, right, it'll prompt me and say it can snap to the end of, and that will be the origin point that it's snapping to. All right, so that looks good. Now, if you want to verify that your table is at the appropriate height, you can go into Translate. All right, we just do this again and select the table. Select the surface that the base plate of the fixture is going to be sitting on top of. So that's these bars for us in this table. I'm just going to select the end of snapping point, grab the end of this here, right? And instead of like picking a position on screen, I'm just going to type in Z0. All right, so we're not going to move anything in X or Y. We're just going to make sure that the point that I picked on this top surface is at Z0. So I'm just typing in Z0 there, click enter. All right, and now it is set to the appropriate height. All right, so we are set. So we are centered up, we're squared, and we're ready to go. All we need to do now is we go up to the File menu. All right, and we don't want to use Save or Save As because that will save as a VDM file, which is what we use for our fixtures. What we want to use is Data Exchange, Export, right? And then we want to give our table a new name. So new table, all right? We want to call it a parasolid, so it needs to be saved as a parasolid type, right? And then we want to put it in the correct folder. So right now, this is not the correct folder, all right? What you'll need to do is go to your PC, right? We'll go to the drive that Windows is installed to, go to Users, the Public User, your Public Documents folder, the Nucleo Fixture folder, and then in here is the Weld Table CAD folder. So if we open this menu up, you can see I've already got a couple tables in here. All right, I'm going to just add a one before this so it's different than the other file name in there. Click Save, and OK. All right, so it saved the parasolid model, and it saved it to the folder that we need to use for Nucleo. All right. Now what we're going to do is I am going to close Nucleo out, and then I'm going to start it back up again, and I'm going to have a demo fixture opened up. All right, so we are in a new file. I have a demo fixture loaded in here. It is important that you close Nucleo and then open it back up, because upon reopening, it scans those files and folders again, and it will detect that you've added a new table in. All right. So now that we are in the software, we can go to the Nucleo fixture section again. All right. If you just want to quickly detect that the software knows that your table is loaded in, you can go to the Assign View section up here on your toolbar, click the Weld Table button, and this will let you select the drop down where you can pick to see your table. All right. So the table we just did is right here at the top. Click OK. All right. So I can load it in. Clearly, it's seeing it. It's putting it in the appropriate position underneath that fixture. All right, so we are set. Now, when we go about using these in a fixture design, what you'll do is you'll be in the Nucleo editor or in the Nucleo wizard. It will be on the base plate page, which is the 4th page in the wizard. This page looks like this. All right, when we want to use a table, all we have to do is check the Use Solid option, and then we need to select which table we want to preview. All right, so now that table is available to us. We can even, if we're planning on sketching a base plate or something like that, we can turn on Use Create Sketch, go in and freehand sketch, and actually snap 2 points on the table if we would like, just to reference things. But that is how we get a table into the software and can use this table as we're working through the fixture design.